The San Francisco Gay Men's Choir is under fire over a song they produced where many men are singing that they're going to convert your children. You can't stop them. It's going to happen bit by bit, and eventually they'll force you to become an ally once they get your kids. Now, I'll say, when I first saw the song, I was like, oh, they're mocking the right? They're being facetious. It's tongue in cheek, and that's what they're claiming. When you actually look at the lyrics, though, it's actually as overt as they could possibly be. It's kind of like they said, hey, let's antagonize the right as much as we possibly can with these lyrics. It's one thing if they said something like, we'll convert your kids by being nice to them, and then when your kids come asking questions, we will be there as a resource. It's not. They're straight up saying we will inch by inch, one at a time, without your knowing and in defiance of your wishes, expose them to things that you don't like and tried to keep far from sight. And the lyrics are pretty crazy, to be completely honest. Now, the reality is, you combine this story with what we've seen from other outlets. Yes, there is an effort from leftists to convert children. It's not just about the gay community or whatever this video is. It's about general leftist indoctrination. I just covered a book in the previous segment called Not My Idea, where it tells children that effectively white people are the devil. Now they say, no. White people and whiteness are different things. But whiteness is a reference to the cultural actions, the historical nature of white people from Europe. So what do they really mean? They say Asian people are white adjacent. What does that mean? I thought whiteness was a cultural reference. No, it is a skin color reference. They are telling your children to defy you, to hate you, that you are evil. Then this video comes out where they say, they don't say outright, they're saying literally an insidious plot, and they say it's a joke. The problem is they're actually doing it. Now, of course, when they try to defend themselves, they say things like the right is taking it out of context. But let me also add one thing, and then we'll read through this. In a statement released by the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, they make reference to the Bible and Christianity. And this is the funniest thing to me. I think it's in their statement. It may be in one of their, it's in one of their statements. The craziest thing to me about this is their view is still that it is a religious Christian perspective that opposes leftist indoctrination. I'm not a Christian. I do not have faith in the Bible or Jesus Christ. I'm not a Christian. It's just the reality. I do believe in God. It's very, very different. There's a lot of philosophical questions about Einsteinian God and simulation theory and what does the word God truly mean. I don't follow these religions. I don't believe that there is some grand biblical morality. I know a lot of people do, and you do. So I've got no issue with people having faith in their religions and believing what they believe. I do take issue with disrespecting what the parents are trying to do for their children. And that's what we're seeing here with these schools. You may say that it's fine that teacher in New York was teaching children how to gratify themselves by touch, or teaching them. Okay, here's what they said. We weren't teaching them how to do it. We're just teaching how it's done. Okay, sure. You might take issue with that. And I do. I think they shouldn't be teaching kids that. But I'll say this. Ultimately, parents should be deciding what their children should be learning, because parents are the ones who are supposed to be preparing their children for adulthood and for responsibility. For someone to come out in a song and say, we will defy what you're trying to teach your kids, that's insane. Okay, going to someone else's child and giving them in the story from the New York Post about this woman teaching these kids these adult things, she was saying the reason was that children should not have secrets with adults. So why is it that these people are saying they're going to be teaching your kids things behind your back that will shock and frighten the parents? How is that acceptable? Mind your own business and your family's business. That's what this has always been about. When I was growing up, the reason why me, my family, my friends supported gay marriage, for instance, was because we were like, yo, let other people live and let live. You guys can do what you want. Now they're laughing and mocking that they're going into schools, they're teaching your children things you don't want them to learn without your knowledge. And we only learn about this stuff because of these Zoom meetings, these Zoom classrooms, where the curriculum gets leaked to the parents who freak out when they realize this stuff is being taught to their kids. Here's the story. I also want to mention, too, there's a story out of Chicago where they're going to be giving 10-year-olds birth control. That's the way they frame it, but it specifically may refer to prophylaxis, but that's what they said, birth control. I don't think they're giving medication to children. Again, Chicago Sun-Times, that's what they said. But this is the point. They are not just teaching your kids things you might not want them to know. Well, they're giving things to your kids you might not want them to have. Here's what you need to understand. The blame isn't on everyone else. Sure, some people are more to blame than others. That's usually the case. But if you think you can pass off your children to strangers, to people you barely know at a government institution, and then you get mad when you find out they're teaching them crazy things, yeah, well, why aren't you taking that responsibility? It's your child. Here's a story from Fox News. They say the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir is facing a wave of backlash after offering up what it described as ironic humor about fears surrounding children and the gay agenda. The backlash came after the choir posted a video in which they sang about indoctrinating children into being more concerned about fairness and justice. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you'll barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make them wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair. I don't care whose side you're on, left or right. I think a child is their responsibility. To say that someone's parent says, I don't want them to know this, and then for you to come and say, I'm going to surreptitiously teach them whatever in defiance of what their parents want is creepy, and I find it to be wrong. What if your kids, you're a tolerant leftist who believes in all these things, and one day your kid comes home and starts preaching about the gospel, and you're like, I do not want you indoctrinated with this stuff. You should not be learning about the Bible and Jesus. How did you learn this? They're teaching us in school. Egad! We went through that already 10, 20 years ago. They should not have prayer in schools. The 10 Commandments should not be at the airport. Fine, take the ideology out of it. Let parents decide what their kids should be learning. To a certain extent, it's impossible. You can't separate ideology because we can say a separation between church and state and identify the church. But how do you separate ideology from state? The state has its own core ideology, which is a classical liberalist ideology. I don't know what you do. Later, the lyrics continue. We'll convert your children. Someone's got to teach them not to hate. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. It's okay. Listen, it's not a joke. It's direct antagonism. I mean, just look at that line. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. Saying it over and over and over again. They were intentionally trying to antagonize. That joke doesn't play among the left. So imagine it this way. If you were going to make a joke, actually, I'll throw it back to the Jack Black choir musical on Proposition 8, I think it was called. That one played well to the left. When Jesus is like, when Jack Black, playing the role of Jesus, says, your nation was built on separation of church and state. When he does that, that's him making an argument. That's them making an argument to the left. In this, they're just intentionally antagonizing over and over and over again. None of this makes any argument to me or anybody else. I'm sure leftists laugh. That's been the defining moment, the defining culture content for several years now. Not to entertain people, but to entertain through antagonizing someone else. Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers. Then soon, we're almost certain your kids will start converting you. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. But you don't have to worry because there's nothing wrong with standing by our side. Imagine if this was religion. Imagine if they said, Jesus is coming for your child. The priests are coming for your child. The nuns are coming for you, and we will take your children. They will care about fairness and faith for others. They will convert their sisters and brothers. Then soon, we're almost certain, your kids will start converting you. I would be upset by any indoctrination. This is what I find funny about the whole CRT in schools thing. They say no one's teaching this, and who cares if they are? We're at the point now where they're saying, yeah, of course they're teaching it, and you're a bigot if you don't accept it. Imagine if your child came home to you and started talking about how they feel sadness because they haven't found Jesus. You'd be like, where are you learning this? And then when the school, they said, no one has read from the Bible. No one has preached gospel. We simply point out that we like Jesus. That's not teaching religion. No one's teaching no one's reading any quotes from saints or past religious scholars. You're making it all up. Then they go, well, it doesn't matter, does it? It's actually a good thing. You're a sinner. I'm not down for any of it. They go on to say, Republican Ohio State legislator Christina Hagan said, they are pompously singing about undermining traditional values of families. The video was made private after receiving 88 likes and 5,000 dislikes. The group said it made the video private out of concern for its members' safety. This is what's really crazy to me. In their statement, they say the far-right conservative media found our message video and have taken it as their cause. This has all happened in the last 24 hours, and it continues to pick up steam. They have taken the lyrics out of context. No, they didn't. It doesn't matter if you are making a joke or not. To support a narrative that suits their intolerant and hateful needs, it is obvious the tongue-in-cheek humor is lost on many. That they can accept. I accept that. As a result, we have seen the user comments on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram become increasingly alarming. Emails to individuals and the chorus are vitriolic, including threats of harm. Don't threaten people. You know, that's just wrong. They go on to mention that they're filing DMCAs, but here's what I find truly interesting. They say after decades of children being indoctrinated and taught intolerance for anyone who is other, from using the Bible as a weapon to reparative therapy, it is our turn. No. I do not believe in the Bible. I do not bring the Bible around to people and read it to them, nor do I use it as a weapon. I think you are as zealous as anyone of any ideology trying to preach whatever their little doctrine demands. This I actually find quite funny. What year is it? Y'all need to realize in the left with your critical gender theory and your critical race theory that there are regular non-theistic individuals who don't go to church, who are either agnostic, atheist, or other, who don't like you going to children and doing exactly what we complained about 10 years ago. Now, look, I have a lot of people who are Catholic and Christian, and I have really interesting discussions with them about these ideas. I actually have many friends who are woke. We get some serious debates. I don't care if you believe in your faith, if you believe in critical race theory, if you worship the books of Derek Bell and Crenshaw, if you love Ibram X. Kendi. I care that they're indoctrinating children and pushing these things in government and policy. Identitarianism. I do not want race or faith-based policy. I want sound, reasonable policy so that the people who want to believe what they want to believe and worship how they want to worship are allowed to do so. The problem is moral authoritarianism. This is what we get. They believe, or perhaps there are people who were trapped 10 years ago. And you know what? Maybe it's old people. It's the weirdest thing to me. Taylor Swift has a music video. And what is it called? It's called, like, You Gotta Calm Down or something. I can't remember what it's called. Calm Down, maybe. And the second verse is about, I guess, LGBTQ hate or something. In the music video, they have a stereotype of like rednecks protesting. And I'm like, yo, it ain't 20 years ago, dude. These times have long since passed. You are way off base with this. But there are people, I guess, who persist in that stereotype that anybody who opposes the indoctrination of children must be a red cap MAGA wearing Christian conservative. Dude, I posted a meme on Instagram. It's the Gadsden snake on a skateboard with a beanie, and it says, "Don't snake me, bro. It's a plan, don't tase me, bro, and don't tread on me." And snaking in skateboarding means cutting someone off, taking your turn out of turn. So like if I'm getting ready to do a trick and I wait for everyone to pass and it's my turn and I'm about to throw it on my board and then someone runs in front of me, they snaked me. It's like, dude, we're like, skateboarding's really amazing how there's like this unspoken anarchic flow. Everybody waits their turn. Not always. Some people are snakes. Anyway, I posted the meme. Pro skateboarders are commenting, laughing, having a good time. If you think that this is all about Bible thumpers, you're wrong. Rock stars, pro skateboarders, A-list celebrities, unfortunately, many of them too scared to speak up and say no to this. Okay, here's what I can respect. In their statement, they mention the humor is lost on many. I didn't find it funny. When I first heard the video existed and I saw a snippet, I was like, I get it. They're mocking conservatives. Then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, dude, this is not a joke. They're literally doing this. Look at this. They say, will convert your children happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. They're saying that they're going to be indoctrinating their kids as to whatever it is they're claiming, leftist ideology, slowly so that you can't do anything about it. Just like you're worried they'll change their group of friends, you won't approve of where they go at night, and you'll be disgusted when they start learning things online that you kept far from their sight. The CEOs of big tech companies don't let their kids have phones. If I tell my kid, I don't want you hanging out with these crackpots. If I tell my kid, I don't want you going to the crackpot party. If I tell my kid, don't go to crackpot.com, I don't know, whatever that website might be. Don't go to crackpot websites. As a parent, I'm allowed to do that. Now, of course, kids rebel. And to a certain extent, it's a good thing. But for adults to say they are circumventing you as a parent to teach the kids the things you have specifically said no to is creepy beyond all recognition. Let's talk about it. The New York Times blasted for defending adult film literacy for first graders. These people are sick. Now, I want to just stress, I want to put a correction in here. The adult film literacy wasn't for first graders. And if it was, wow. Okay. But I'm pretty sure that was for high schoolers. You still might be saying, dude, schools shouldn't be teaching these things. Yeah, that's for the parents to decide. All right, parents, you decide. They were teaching children in first grade, 6-year-olds, how to do things that they shouldn't be teaching 6-year-olds. Now we get this story at CPS. New Chicago public school program puts free condoms in nearly every school, including elementaries. They say when Chicago public school students head back to their schools next month, any school with kids in the 5th grade and up will offer birth control. I thought that was a strange framing because it seems they're mostly talking about condoms, which I guess is a form of birth control. But birth control typically people assume, pills. So sure. All right. Here's the New York Times. Talking with children about race and sex. I get it. You want to talk to kids about culture, about life, about society. And you want to talk to the kids about the birds and the bees. That I understand. Why is this the same thing? Why are they doing it together? This is exactly what you need to understand when this video comes out where they say they're coming for your children. Now, a lot of people are saying they're undermining traditional family values. Yes, sure. Right? They're coming for your kids. They're not joking when they say it. It's sort of a passive omission. Every joke has its truth, they say, but these people are like, it was tongue in cheek. Well, they literally do it. And what I mean by they, I mean leftists. I don't think that there's like individually gay people going around telling kids to be gay or anything like that. I don't believe. I think what it actually is just the concepts of race, sex, and gender and sexuality are lumped into the same critical identity theory ideology that they're indoctrinating children to. They have books like Not My Idea, it's the name of the book, where they tell kids to yell at their parents and call their parents liars. This is beyond creepy. Parents, you got to homeschool your kids. There's been a major upswing in homeschooling. You got to do it. If you want your kids to be well-rounded and well-adjusted and smart, it's going to be your responsibility. You cannot, and you should never have, put your kids off to someone else you don't know to raise them. A lot of people use school as daycare because they have work. I get it. It's not easy. Perhaps the simple solution is one of the parents stays home and raises the children, or you interchange between them. You see the problem with all of this? And it ultimately stems a lot from feminism. This is a reality. When women entered the workplace, it allowed businesses to undercut wages. I'm not making this up. Like these are literally facts. There are a lot of arguments as to why wage stagnation hit at a certain time. One of the factors is that with doubling the workforce overnight, with the rise of feminism, you now all of a sudden had men and women competing against each other for jobs. It used to be that one parent could work while the other parent raised kids. Not anymore. Now both parents need to work. Because of that, people need public schools. Because of that, public employees are teaching your children what they want, not what you want. And I got to say, it is a bit brazen to be outraged that you passed the buck off to someone else, and perhaps because the system is broken, and now you're mad it's happening. I mean, you're allowed to be, but now you have an option. Take your kids out, Put them in a homeschool pod where you have one parent from the neighborhood on their day off teach every day. So Monday through Friday. John's day off is Monday. Sally's day off is Tuesday. Susan's day off is Wednesday. Rick's day off is Thursday. And they can teach the kids from books you can buy on the internet and also teach them about their careers. How about that? Then on the weekends, you get the one guy who's, not smart about anything. And as I said this the other day, take him to the park. Take him to a skate park. Have him do gym class. In fact, they should be doing some kind of exercise every morning. If you take about 20 kids from your local neighborhood, you should have at least 20 or more parents, maybe less depending on how many kids people have. But imagine you wake your kids up, you say, hey, it's time to go to school. We're going to go play outside and we're going to play games. Freeze tag. Now the kids are running around getting exercise. Now you say, okay, now we're going to sit down and learn math. And you know what you can do? You can actually navigate this and create the perfect learning curriculum for your kids because you're working with them. How about this? You start the day with everybody jump roping and playing freeze tag, depending on how old they are. If they're a little bit older, grab the skateboard, grab the bikes, grab the basketball. We'll go outside. You guys do your thing. You're older. Younger kids, let's play freeze tag or something. Or we'll play some game. Duck, duck, goose. Something like that. Then you do math class, right? Now the kids are getting tired and you say, okay, 15-minute, we're going to play a game. And then you get them physically active again. That might work really well for your kids. I don't like the public school system. I never liked it. I didn't like going through it. I didn't like the garbage teachers, and I don't like the indoctrination. I had trash teachers. I had 2 really good ones that I can remember. That's about it. In fact, it's probably fair to say I only had 1 really good teacher. The rest were just callous, angry individuals. So listen, the responsibility is yours. These people made a video. I think it was purposefully antagonistic. Who was it a joke for? I don't know. But it's getting nasty out there. People are getting mean to each other. We should all just chill out, not be so mean to everybody. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.